It's Nickey le Roux of Group Editors at the Results Centre of the IEC in Cape Town. I'm speaking with Premier candidate Allan Winde of the Democratic Alliance. Allan, tell us, election results, obviously, we're talking Western Cape, we're talking national. What is the latest?
I've got a little smile on my face. Yeah, it's looking. My word this morning was cautiously optimistic, but it feels good. I think our voters have come out, so yeah, hopefully we do even better than the knife edge that we were seeing in the lead up to this election. And I must thank the voters for that. And then specifically looking at certain outliers or what has come in as a surprise. Really great to see Heerden seeing, and we were just talking earlier about how I think the by-election gave them a certain impetus, but I think it's also, Grant Riddle's the mayor there, really, a breath of fresh air in that region, leading with innovation, and yeah, that's really exciting, and that shows you that leadership in politics is very, very important. And then looking across the province, I think it's looking good so far. I saw Heerden still some of those issues there, and I mean it's tough in Heerden with a drought. I moved on from Heerden to Kannaland. Some of those issues there, yeah, it just shows I think we've got to go and do a bit of work there. Still waiting I've been running around now, so I haven't seen what the final numbers are looking like in Beaufort West, but Beaufort West also, one of those areas that we always look at differently and are hard to understand. That otherwise, yeah, looking good, but still, we're not even halfway there yet. So
when do you expect election results for the Western Cape to be ready?
Well, I'm pretty certain by the end of today we'll have, very kind of, it won't be ready to declare, but I mean, we'll really have a very good understanding of where we are and what kind of percentage we're probably going to end with. But I mean, the IC are probably only going to declare either on Friday evening or Saturday morning.
We're looking particularly at the Southern Cape and the Karoo. You mentioned the Beaufort West area, but now more about the Heerden district. How's election results in that area?
Okay, so I haven't done a full analysis myself yet, and I should do because this is my home region. But I've been going from one interview to the next, so I'll go and spend a bit of time having a look. But I looked at some of the VDs coming in George, and they were looking good. I was quite happy with those numbers coming in. And maybe by-elections there also giving us, some kind of judgment on what's happening, and I think also helping with a bit of momentum. Because not all of our municipalities are plain sailing. We've got some big issues to deal with at local government level. And even in this campaign, it might have been a national and provincial campaign, but all campaigns end up being local campaigns. And so, obviously that also we've got to do some very quick analysis, and then that sets the pathway of what this government needs to do going forward, especially because in 2 years' time we go back to local government elections. And I think a lot of voters, and the message I was getting is that there are issues that we've got to look at, and we need to go and sort those issues out. And I mean, that's going to have to be a key part of what we do. We're going to do our big things, which is carry on with jobs and education and health, and then the underliers, which are also not so easy to be done, like safety and security. We've got to get a different way of making this province safer. Train systems, maybe not as big issue for the Southern Cape, although trains could play a much bigger role in the Southern Cape. I mean, I just think of my hometown and the Outeniqua Choo-Choo, but I also think of how trains and agriculture and tourism need to be looked at differently. And then it links to public transport. Obviously, George, a big issue with public transport, the delay that we've got now with Go George. But Donald was making decisions there that were trying not to derail it. It's an interesting one. How do you derail a bus system? But try not to derail it too much. We need to make sure that it makes a difference. Cost-effective transport is a big, big thing, especially in rural areas. To get to healthcare or to get to education or to get to a job. Public transport, we underestimate the role that it needs to play in rural areas, and it's very expensive to get around. And then resilience, water, electricity, climate change, all of those things. These are all big tasks for us. Refuse, that's a very interesting thing. Where does refuse go to? And it's all very well saying we should be recycling all of our refuse, but what about the cost effectiveness? I mean, we spoke about Heerden and solar-powered desalination. It's probably more than 5 years ago they tried a refuse site with recycling of refuse to energy, and it didn't work. So, maybe we're getting closer, but it's something. I mean, across this province, I was seeing in towns across this province where the refuse dump sites are big issues. And there's fewer and fewer of these sites that can be approved because it's about the groundwater. So this is complex. This is not very easy stuff to just sort out.